Good morning, party people.
Good morning.
Oh, hold on. I didn't realize.
Good morning.
Yeah, I got to disconnect from my. How we doing? Oh, now my audio's not working. Come on. All right, I'll just stick it back in. Hold on. One minute.
I watched a bunch of the the webinars or whatever Bob conducts about that, which were interesting. So,
Harry, if you were talking to me, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I had to run and get my other headset.
no, I was actually talking to Howard. He asked if
Oh, gotcha.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I started the ball rolling with Home Boss over the weekend.
Gotcha. Right on.
So,
Right on. Well, a couple of things that I have for the good of the group today. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend and a happy Easter. I'll share with a quote that I was listening that came up on a I guess a podcast or YouTube video I was watching this morning. And it's a Tony Robbins quote. And it is that wealth exists in the gap between ideas and their implementation. Wealth exists in the gap between ideas and their implementation. You know, it doesn't matter how great the idea is, if it's not executed on, there's, not much is going to happen, right? So it's about implementation. That said, implementing bad ideas maybe also isn't a great plan either. So a combination of right ideas or right information, and then the execution and the implementation thereof, that's where wealth, success, results, whatever you want to say, that's where the magic is. All right, I'm going to share just being transparent and authentic, and I've kind of brought this up a couple of times recently. I've been struggling the last couple of weeks. Just have been, I don't know, like last week, I just didn't want to do anything. I just really wanted to pack it in and, and just hide in a corner. I just didn't want to do anything. That said, I still got some things done, but for whatever reason, and I think I've been going pretty hard and, whatever. There was some nice weather last week, but we also had some cold days and not so nice days, whatever. That said, I took some time this weekend, completely unplugged, went out on a date with my wife, Pam, and our daughter on Friday night. I knocked out a couple of small things Saturday morning, but then I went and coached my son's baseball team, like literally the whole day, completely disconnected, didn't even have my phone. I don't remember what we did Saturday night. Chilled out, maybe watched basketball and college baseball. Yesterday I got up, I did a very minimal workout. We went to church. And then I just literally laid on the couch and watched baseball like all afternoon. I watched the Phillies and college baseball, and like that to me was, I have not done that. I have not been that lazy in I can't even remember how long. And I feel like I am on fire this morning. Like, light me up. I am ready to go. I have gotten an incredible amount of productive activity done already. And it was a good reminder for me, like, I need to unplug a little bit more frequently, because I definitely, the last couple weeks, I needed to recharge, and I wasn't giving myself that opportunity to do so. So thought I'd share that in full transparency. I'll also share a win, and then I would love to hear any other wins. I actually got a buyer in escrow this weekend. even with being completely, whatever, disconnected or whatever. And it made me think, here's another thing that I think I have been not listening to often my own advice, or the advice that I'm trying to feed my brain, which is, I wasn't even trying to get buyers in escrow. Like I wasn't putting energy or effort into that, even though I have buyers that are really willing to make offers. Like, and though I have been intentionally putting more energy on the seller and listing side, like there's still opportunity on the buy side. And so, I mean, it was a competing offer too. There were 5 offers, I think, and we got it. So, anyone else have a win or from the weekend, or maybe a quick takeaway from the weekend? And by the way, we have a guest today. Sorry, we have a guest today, Ronnie Shaw, down in Dallas Fort Worth area. So Bruce, in your neck of the woods. Yep, Bruce is Ronnie. When we spoke last week, Bruce is the one I was mentioning. He's in Flower Mound area, and then we have folks in Virginia, Georgia, New Jersey, Colorado, Maryland, California, and Chris, do you reside in Kentucky or reside in Ohio? Can't remember.
I live in Cincinnati, so that's
Right.
on the Ohio side, but I'm like 5 minutes from the bridge and you're in Kentucky.
Right on. Right
Yeah.
on. So Ronnie, thanks for joining us. Great to have you. Any wins or thoughts for the group? Because then I do have a couple other like more tactical things, but I always like to start the week off with
Well, my
wins.
son had his 19th birthday on Saturday.
Awesome. Now, is that the one that you've mentioned several times is in?
No, that's my older son who's in the Navy, and my
That's right.
youngest son goes in the end of May. So they both
Oh,
are going to
wow.
go in Navy. They're both going to nuclear power school. They're doing exactly what Dad did, except they're going in enlisted and I was an officer.
Okay.
Now, my oldest said he's looking at possibly, when he gets done, trying to get into go seaman to admiral and then be a pilot, because he had one of the guys at boot camp was a pilot, and he said, with your stuff, you should be a pilot, which would be fine with me. My eyes weren't good enough.
Gotcha. Right on. Right on.
That's my
Good
win.
stuff. Right on. Anybody else have a win? Or Harry, you were holding up some. Are those
7
are packages for StreetText leads?
Yes, sir.
Right on.
I put got my templates all put together, figured out RPR, and spent a couple hours and just put it all together. Like you said, the first one took me forever, and the rest not so long. So I felt like that was a good use of my time this weekend.
Right on. Right on. Anybody else have any wins to share? Adele, please.
I have a win, Josh. I got that listing. Remember the FISBO?
Woo-hoo! Congrats. That's awesome.
I got it. But now I'm scrambling because I have no signs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wish I could help you there.
So like this was the one that I did the home boss presentation to.
Right. Yep.
So we'll see how it goes, but
okay.
Yeah, but I got it. And I was like, oh my gosh. But this all started from, remember when you said just to text the FISBOs, then to meet them?
Yep.
So this started with that concept.
Right on. Right on. Good on you for taking action. That goes right.
It only took 1 week.
That's beautiful. And that goes right back to the quote I shared at the beginning. Wealth exists in the gap between ideas and their implementation. You took an idea, implemented, giddy up. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm going to turn my video off because I have some running around to do, but I'll still be listening in.
Right on. Thanks, Adele. Jacob, your hand is held high.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
You bet. Thanks, Adele.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a buyer in contract too over the weekend.
Congrats.
It was a multiple offer situation. There were 8 offers, and we ended up in the catbird seat. And what I mean, the thing I wanted to share about that with the group is that, and this is something we try to do in every buyer situation. I think a secret sauce that realtors ignore, it's so easy to fall into the world of text and email, is that we always try to make it a point to call the listing agent and find out what's important to the seller. I'm fairly certain we didn't have the highest price. My guy's a VA buyer. So, I mean, you would think that in an 8 offer situation, VA would get kicked to the curb, but we just asked good questions and was able to offer the seller really great terms. We gave him a free 30-day rent back. We offered to cover $10,000 of appraisal risk, and we closed along his timeline, and doing that really honored the seller, and he ended up choosing my guy. And the other benefit to that was that when you call the listing agent on the buyer side or vice versa, you inadvertently develop relationships. So I had done a bunch of deals with this listing agent in the past, and because I always called him on the phone, he knew me, he knew I could close, and I think that played into it too, my reputation with the listing agent. I had built up a bunch of credit with him from all the previous phone calls I'd made to him. So yeah, that was a good win.
That is a great share, Jacob, and a good reminder for me. I mean, I do send text and email. I do try to ask, if there are things beyond, the best net to them that are important. But I mean, obviously with, recruiting and revenue share being an opportunity here, what better opportunity to build a person-to-person relationship on the phone than when you're trying to work together with someone. So that's a great reminder. Also, great usage of a phrase that we should all be using more, the catbird seat. I mean, that is not used enough in our vernacular, in my opinion. Great stuff. Thank you, Jacob. Allison, you have your hand up.
I got my first StreetText appointment for tomorrow.
Woohoo! So unpack that, please, and then that'll be a perfect transition. I have a resource I want to share with you guys.
All right. So
a free one. Won't cost anybody anything.
I hate video. I hate doing it, but I'm sucking it up and I'm doing those bomb videos. And that's what he responded to. So he said, can we set up something for Monday? I texted him back, sure. And then next thing I know, he went into my Calendly app and scheduled something for 2:00 tomorrow. So.
Beautiful. So you said, by the way, she said sucking it up, not the other word. It was, the audio was a little funky. I took a breath for a minute. So that was you sent a personal one-to-one video?
Yes.
Perfect. And they scheduled right on your Calendly?
Yep.
Beautiful.
I included my Calendly link in my email and he scheduled right on that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So along those lines, we talked with Frank last week, who was generating leads with the KV Core home valuation link. And I said, hey, let's try the StreetText link. So let me take a step back. He was generating free leads by sharing into groups using his KV Core home valuation link. I said, let's try the StreetText link because in my experience, it converts way better. He generated a whole bunch of leads. But to follow up on that, I will share this document here. So don't use these links. These are my links. Okay, don't use these links. But what we have here is, I don't even know how many variations, but a bunch of variations that you can use as the text part to share into groups. So that, and quite honestly, we're going to start sharing on my Facebook page one different variation of these every day and sharing into groups. I'm going to see how many free home valuation seller leads I can generate in like the next 2 weeks by just doing that. And there are, I mean, there's at least 10 to 12 different variations here. And quite honestly, for any number of these, you could kind of take and tweak them. So I'll drop the link to this. Just again, don't use the links at the top. That's mine. You're going to send people to my StreetText. But I mean, if you don't have, you still would have to have the StreetText account to get their you know, their pipeline, their landing page process, which again I'm finding is working really well, regardless of how you're sending people there. Like you get a really high conversion ratio. But might as well use it to generate even more free opportunities as well. I think what Frank has been doing is he will share into 8 to 10 groups per week. So one time, 8 to 10 per week. I think that's what he was doing. But from one, he shared into like 8 or 10 groups last week, and he had generated, at last count, 50 leads just from one, you know, one post into multiple groups. It was, you know, it was the same post, but into multiple different groups. So, I mean, might as well. I mean, I know it takes, you know, it takes your time to do it, but free. And if it were me, as I said, what I'm going to do is we're going to post it to my Facebook page and then post it in the groups. Will that get activity? I don't know. But the other reason I want to do it is I want to see which of the variations of the accompanying text get the most organic reach, because that will tell us then language that is resonating with the public. I mean, there are other factors in there too, right? So it's not like, you know, certain days have more organic reach and stuff, but at least it'll give you some idea. Like what is most likely to happen is 2 or 3 of those are going to get drastically more reach than you know, other ones. And then we can kind of reverse engineer that and maybe even create more variations of the one that did get, you know, exponentially or you know, an inordinate amount of additional activity. So and I did, go ahead. I don't know where that was coming from.
Yeah, that was me, Josh. Hey, I know you mentioned that you were banned from Marketplace, but did anybody else try to do that same with the Marketplace, to post any of those in the Marketplace? That evaluation tool, KV Core.
Oh. Into Marketplace? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, see, I don't know that I would do it in Marketplace.
You wouldn't?
Well, I mean, the majority of the activity on Marketplace is buyer activity. So A, I don't know that it's the right audience on some level, and B, you're definitely breaking their terms of use. Like they want actual listings posted there. I would just share into groups. Like it's still free, and I mean, you'll definitely get activity. You'll definitely get leads from it. Cool. One other thing that I wanted to share, and then we could just open it up. No, 2 other things that I wanted to share, and then we could just open it up for general Q&A. And oh, by the way, there's 50 leads, kind of insane. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing a question. So hold on, am I showing my screen? Well, I think we talked about this last week, and I know some of you already have access to it, but homebot.ai, it's worth checking out for these leads. I don't know what it costs for you to buy it outright. I think Frank said it's like only 25 bucks or something, and then maybe depending on how many you have in there. But the thing that has consistently blown me away is the open rate and the engagement rate of people that you put into HomeBot. They get like 60 to 75% open rate, and it's coming from you. So it's not like they're open. It's opening your email. It's just through HomeBot.
Josh,
Yes.
you can partner with a lender on that too.
Right. Yes.
So you're
and
splitting
that's
the
what they
cost,
would
or
prefer.
they're paying for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. HomeBot was built for loan officers, like as the primary person. But it is pretty phenomenal. I would highly recommend you at least check it out as an additional way to provide value, and to stay top of mind and to brand yourself, etc. Because it not only gives the client a home valuation, but it also will give them an idea of their equity position, refinancing options, even like, well, let me see if I can pull up my HomeBot report, like on my property. Now, let me also say, the information, just like any information online, it's not always 100% accurate. There are times where, for example, I have a listing that I'm putting on the market next week that I've been in conversation with these folks since probably last summer. And the initial valuation they got was way off. It was way low. And it's because, and I think I may have even told this story before, it's because for whatever reason, the information in the tax database as far as square footage and bedrooms and baths is for the property right next door to them. They have an extra bedroom, an extra full bath, and like 500 square feet more than that property. And so their house is worth significantly more than that property. That said, anytime that happens, it's an opportunity to have a conversation and apologize. I'm so sorry. You're totally right. It's a computer generated value, and it's pulling information online. Do you have a few minutes so that we can make sure that the information is accurate and get you a better valuation? Is kind of the script. But the report that gets sent, preview the digest. This is what the consumer sees, and it's pretty robust and pretty cool. So it's like their valuation, and they can actually tune the value, and that's a great example of something that you could create a video around, is showing them how to tune their value, because it gives a range. It gives a range, and then you can tune it one way or another. They can tune it one way or another, or you can too, because you can access all of your clients in the back dashboard. But you can see here, there's a whole bunch of additional, like, really cool information. And all I can tell you is, like, they got it figured out, because to consistently get an open rate of 60 to 75% is remarkable. And so, yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend, for those of you, really serious about, the home valuation leads with StreetText and focusing on listings. I think it's a great resource. Another thing I would do is, if you do use it, get your entire sphere and all of your past clients on it, because it's another touch point. It's you're providing actual valuable and interesting information to them. And I mean, why not? Right? Why not?
And it's a reason to call and tell them you're doing that.
Right. Yes. 100%. 100%. Absolutely. Harry, you have your hand up.
So first, I just wanted to say, I love the title of that document, The Organic Onslaught.
Oh, yeah. I love alliteration. So anytime I can come up with matching, that's always like my name for anything. I always like it to be alliterations, which is, by the way, one of the few grammatical or English related terms that I know.
So, but my question was, you're talking about these groups to go into. do you have like a list of kinds of groups that, because I don't know that I really belong to any things like that, that we could sort of go and figure out and join? How's that?
So what I would do to start with is in the Facebook search bar, just search either Montgomery County, Maryland, or what is it? Kensington, Maryland is one of your.
It's where the town I live in, or the zip
Yeah,
code I live
okay.
in is Kensington.
Okay, so I would do Kensington, Maryland, and then I would filter to groups. And then, so this one has 3,700 members. It's probably a good one. This one has 1,000. This one has 1,500. Let's see what comes up for Montgomery County. So I mean, garage, garage yard sale groups, like, so Montgomery County, Maryland, 23,000 members. That's probably a good. 40,000 members, probably a good one. 8,000 members. So that's my process for doing it. Is I start by searching, find the ones that have the highest members, where that, like, you wouldn't want to do the jobs one, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But some of these other ones, and some of them, listen, quite honestly, some of them, they may kick you out, they may ban your posts. Who cares? Next up, because plenty of them won't. Many of them will ask you questions on the onboarding process, or like the request, like when you hit the request. I'm not going to do it, but well, I'll just let me think here. I'll look for it. You know what? I'll look for Cumberland.
So are there particular types of groups that you've had more or less success with?
Well, the problem
random?
is that's kind of hard to track. It's hard to kind of like say, okay, well, this one clearly I'm getting more information or better results than from another. So it's one of those things where I know if I shared in a week, if I shared 10 groups, because I wouldn't even do, like, I would do a couple a day, or twice a week I'd do 3 to 5 sharing into groups. Like, you don't want to do it if you get overly aggressive with it. Facebook will, they may give you some kind of slap of some sort or another.
Right. And so the sort of mechanics of this, you post something on your business page and then share it into the group, or do you post it on your personal page, or what's the sort of steps there?
So the way I have been doing it is I post it on my Facebook page and then I share it into a group. Now you have to share it from your personal, like, here, I'll show.
So you post on your personal profile,
so
as opposed to your business page.
Yeah, no, sorry. It's confusing because Facebook is confusing.
Yes.
So I'm going to do this right now. I'll just do one right now, and we'll that way we'll have it.
You're not sharing, Josh.
Share your screen.
Yeah, never fails. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to get my link. I've got 3 link options here. I'm going to get my link. This is going to be slow because every time we play on Facebook while we're on Zoom and screen sharing and recording, it just it bogs it down. It's slow, but you can see the process. So step 1, you know what? I'm not going to use this one because I've used that one a bunch. I want to use the one that has the satellite map.
And where do these links come? So these are just links of your ads, correct?
Okay, yeah, good point. I'm glad you brought it up. So let's take it back even further. I got these from StreetText. So you go to StreetText, you go to your ads on the left-hand side. By the way, somebody submitted the local mall on my home valuation page. Like what?
Always a joker, huh?
Yeah. So you can do any of these where it says view my ad. That's the URL that you're trying to get. So this is the permalink. This is the permalink to an ad that you can then share. So I'm gonna go and I'll do it right from there. So we have it from that. I want to grab one of the ones of my with the satellite view, because I haven't posted that to my directly to my page using this process. And I just want to vary, the look. Now I'm gonna have to reload the page. And if you're wondering, will this work? Like, can you actually generate business from it? Frank is listing a property this week from him using this process, but with his KV Core home valuation link. And he got the lead, like, I don't know, 30 days ago or something like that. So like these are people, I mean, it's the same people that are going to do that you can get from the ads. Like it's all the same. There, it can work using organic Onslaught or the actual paid ad campaigns.
And I guess you could use your HomeBot link too if you wanted to try something like that, right? Because that would.
Yes. The reason why I don't like using that is HomeBot does not capture partial data. So they have to enter their
Gotcha.
address, their name. They have to enter their address, their phone number, their name, and their email in a 3-step process. So it's address and then phone number and then name and email. If they don't do that, you don't get any lead.
Gotcha.
This way, I like that it's a slippery slope and the data is captured all along the way.
Right. Makes sense.
So I'm going to use this one. Although, what are those first emojis? Bananas? Oh, this market is bananas. That was good. That was Frank's. That was one of Frank's. This market is bananas. I like it. I'm gonna break up the lines here a little bit.
And this is on your
make it more. No, this is on my Facebook business page, the Josh Schoenly EXP Realty page. This can work and would work on your personal. You can post it to your personal profile and then share into groups as well. But what I have been doing is I create a post on my Facebook page and then I share those into the groups.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
I don't have a Facebook business page for me, James Brown. I've just got my personal one. And I don't want to annoy all my friends with a bunch of business stuff either. So do you have any tips or suggestions on setting one of those up, naming wise or anything?
For a business page?
Yeah.
I would do James Brown EXP Realty.
Okay, cool.
That's what I would do.
Check whatever the compliance thing is for your state that you have to fulfill. Make that the name of your Facebook business page.
Good
right?
call. Yep.
So if you need to identify yourself as a real estate agent, if you need to say that you're what state you're in, if you need to say what broker you're with, if you need to say that you're a part of a team, if you need to have your full name in there, because what that will do, if you name your business Facebook page, whatever the compliance thing is, every post you have is compliant. You don't have to waste copy on trying to be compliant. So, if you don't know what that is, go to your PB, ask them, and they'll spell out what the compliance stuff is. But that's the best approach.
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed. 100%. That's a great.
What's a PV?
PB, principal broker.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
that one.
gonna click share now. managing broker, principal broker, you know who it is. You're a broker, you're a state broker.
Hey,
Yep.
Bubba.
So now I've got this post on my page. The only thing that isn't great is the fact that they have to click see more to get the call to action, but the call to action is here as well. Whatever, it's fine. Now I want to share into groups. So I can go share in a group. And then, so I can choose. So this is where it gets a little confusing. But if you try to share into a group as your page, it will only allow you to share into groups that you belong to as your business page, which may be 0, it may be 1, it may be 2. Like I personally have created a couple of groups, and so I can share into those groups. Okay, so that's the first way of doing it. However, what most of you are going to have to do is you're going to click share in a group. You have to find your personal profile, right? So all I did was I went here, I clicked back. How this looks may vary for you, but you're trying to find where it says your name in parentheses, you choose that. And now I can share into however many groups I can find. And I can just start by typing in text. This is the one I just joined, so I'm just gonna choose that one.
So the post goes on the business page, but then you share it out as your personal self.
Because unless you have joined a group as your Facebook page, you can't share it as your Facebook page. Some groups do allow you to join their group as your business page, but many do not.
Got it. Okay.
And it's just, you kind of have to play around with it and navigate that. The other way you can do it is you can post to your personal profile and then share it over to groups, or the way Frank does it, which I can't do because I got banned from Marketplace, which somehow means I can't go directly in groups and post, which makes no sense because I can share into groups. And I'll probably get a lead while we're on here if it's anything like what normally happens. But what Frank has been doing is he creates the post directly in the group. Like he'll just go to a group and make the post in there. Now, when he's doing that, he's making the post as him, that as his personal profile, because that's the only way he can do it. Again, unless you were a member of that group as your business page, like your Facebook business page was a member of the group, which actually I do have some more now that I think about it that are. Yeah, I was actually, because I was playing around with this one day. So if you're going back to the groups here, I'll show you. Let's go back to where we started. Where we were trying to find groups to join. So you can do a search, and I'll do Harrisburg. And I'm only thinking a little bit about this because I'm already a member of a bunch of groups. So I'm trying to find one where I'll get some group options that maybe I haven't seen before. And of course, it looks different than it literally just did. Why is it doing that? There we go. I don't know why I did that, but you want to get it to where it goes here and then click on groups, filter by groups, by the area. And you can see here that I already have a number of these that I'm a member of. So this one is not. So I'll click this. See, it didn't even give me an option, which means it's only allowing you to join from your personal profile. Let me see if I can find another one. Nope, that one didn't either. Oh, yes. Now, so this is an example of, that some of them will ask you questions.
Because they want to keep spammers out.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, you could make the case that this is kind of like spamming.
So I just got my first StreetText response from somebody
Beautiful.
just now.
Beautiful. I'm trying to find one. Let me try one more here to see if I can get one that asks me if I want to join as my personal profile or I'll try this one. Here we go. So this is what would happen if they are allowing or yeah, making it available for you to join as, but mine isn't even showing up. Oh, more of them have to load. So unfortunately, I have created and am an admin on a gazillion pages. You will probably not have this issue, but I could go through and find my, there's my coaching page. Maybe we're getting close. Anywho,
Right.
you can then, in this case, I could join that group as my page and therefore be able to share it from my page and not from my personal profile. Here we go, join the group. We'll see what happens there. Oh, and they do have Yipper, Enola, PA. That's it. That was the only question. So that's how, that's that process. I think I've already added this document to the doc that I have all of the StreetText, sort of my StreetText resources. If not, I'll get it in there. But a great free way to generate even more seller leads. And quite honestly, like just as a test, I have all of my ads off. I turned them off on either Thursday or Friday because my kids were off on Friday. I knew I was going to at least try to unplug some. And I wanted to test this where for at least a week or two, I'm just going to use this organic Onslaught process to generate free leads and see what comes of it. See which of these resonate, see what works and what doesn't, so I can report back to you guys.
So you turned off all your StreetText ads and you're just
My tree stick, yep, they are off currently. Yeah, I had turned them off because I didn't want to feel like when they're running, I feel this pressure, like I've got to get back to people. I got to send these packets out, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't want any of that, underlying pressure this weekend. I didn't want to feel any of that. So I turned them off and now I'm just going to test out. I'm going to try this for a week or two. And then I'm not saying I'm not going to turn my ads back on. I'm just doing it as a test to see what happens.
So Chris asked about where the,
yeah, so let me find that. Let me find that. It's right here. And it'll take a while. I'll share that in the chat. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas related to this or anything for that matter?
I just got a question for you about turning your ads off. Ira had suggested to me that whatever I do, I don't turn my ads off for more than 3 days in a row. And it's a problem with Facebook if you do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacob, your HomeBot question in a minute. So their logic, and I don't have any reason to dispute this, is that if you turn your ads off for more than 3 days, when you turn them back on, Facebook is going to basically start over with the audience pool that they're putting it in front of. In other words, when you do the 3 ad split test, the reason for doing that is so Facebook can go and find you the best pool of people. When you turn them off for that length of time, 3 days or more, essentially you're resetting that process. So when I turn mine back on, what I will probably do is just do a new 3 ad split test. I would also say that I might also just turn the one on that was working and see how it does.
Sure.
I think some of that depends on, you're in a more competitive market. So I would say if I were to do that, if you wanted to turn them off for a week or 2 weeks, I would probably, when relaunching, just run a new 3 ad split test and do the same process from there. Yeah, that
Okay. Thank you.
I think there's definitely something to that, because I have noticed on lots of different campaigns where that does happen, where like you had a campaign running, it was running great, you turn it off for a week, you turn it back on, it's like it's not even the same ad. Like, I don't understand why it's not generating. So I definitely think there's something to that. That's not just them. I mean, they get no benefit from that information, right? They're not making money off of you doing another split test. It's Facebook. Their only goal is to help people, actually win with the platform. So it's a good point and a good question. Jacob, question about HomeBot.
It's kind of a couple of questions. The first is, you're partnered with a lender, or is this through your MLS that you're getting this pricing?
So I'm actually getting it through Ylopo. Ylopo has a direct integration and a direct relationship or whatever. Frank does not have that, and he was the one that said it was $25. I haven't been able to verify that. If you're getting it on your own, I think the best practice would be to get a lender on board with it, if you can. But I don't think Frank is doing that. I think he just signed up at $25 a month.
Yeah.
Just him.
It's not $25 a month if you just go to their website. So,
well, Frank's not here today, but I'll ask him. He's usually on these, even if he's just listening in. I'll ask him how he got that pricing.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I would imagine he's partnered with a lender. Okay, so there's special pricing through Ylopo that you're getting is how you signed up for it.
Yes, and the special with Ylopo, you don't pay anything until you get, Harry, is it over 300 or 500? So once you have 500 people in HomeBot, then you pay $25 for every additional 100?
No, I think it's it's either 250 or another 500 for the additional $25.
Oh, okay.
I think.
So $25 for an additional either 250 or 500 contacts.
Yeah.
But that's not what Frank's doing. I'll get with Frank to see how he got the pricing. And I'll see if he can come on tomorrow too.
Is there any triggers or behavioral correlations for when people engage the HomeBot email?
Yes.
That essentially says, hey, this person is more likely to sell than this other person.
Well, maybe not that very last point that you made. However, when they tune their value, you're notified. When they engage with it on any level, you're notified. You can go and look. You can go and look. Like, I can go into my, let me just go to the dashboard. And I can see not just who was active, but who was the most active. I don't understand. It had to be more than that. I gotta look into this. I don't know that mine. I'm touting all touting all of this. I have hundreds of people that are set up on this. I don't know how it could only be 46 sends in the last 30 days. Maybe the 396, but 2 of them can't be sent. I'm confused. So 390. Anyway, you can go and look and see who is actively engaged, and also it'll send you, like, I get an email every Monday morning. I'm trying to find it here. I have it in here somewheres.
It's like a digest of who.
Yeah, it'll show you. Where is it?
Would you use this instead of a CMA?
No.
I wouldn't. I use it in addition to. So the digest will show you who was active over the last 7 days and how active they were. So like my first 4 say 2 activities. I don't even know what that means exactly. Like I don't, and then I have a bunch that were 1 activity. So those are great people to then send, call, text, email, and just say, hey, I saw that you were checking out HomeBot. Just wanted to see if you had any questions about any of the information on there, or anything else that we've been sending you or whatever. Like I would not. It's a service call, not a sales call. Like, hey, just making sure it's working okay for you, kind of thing. But that's the 2 most powerful things about it, 3 most powerful things about it to me are A, people like really open and engage with this thing. B, the actual information that it's providing, it goes way more than just like, here's a range of value on your home. And then C, and I realized or maybe I did do A, B, and C, or A1 and 2, or A2 and C, I don't know. Is that last part where it'll show you who's active on the thing. And so I think when they tune the value, Harry, maybe you know this, I think when they tune the value, HomeBot will tell you, hey, this person probably could use a CMA because they're like playing with their valuation.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I used it. I got this idea from one of the Wailopo things. You call up, you pick some people, and you call them up and you say, I'm trying this new service, and would you like to be my beta tester? As another sort of conversation point.
Yeah.
And I picked people who I knew were kind of, like computer geeky people.
Yeah.
Because I thought they'd kind of enjoy that. And I got some interesting feedback. So it was, another talking point.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, Josh, are you doing these for the StreetText leads that you're getting?
I am.
And now are you doing this in conjunction with or in addition to the KV Core campaign that you've set up?
In addition.
Okay.
Yep. I think I mentioned this last week, and I've heard several people mention this, I'm still trying to figure out where the line is of too much stuff I'm sending them. And most of us assume that like we're crossing the line on how much we're sending emails, texts, and phone, when the reality is most of us are getting nowhere near the line. And the only way to know where the line is to cross it and have several people tell you, okay, you've crossed the line. Like, let's tone it down a little, right? And so I'm still in that phase of like figuring out how much I can push. I'm probably at it, to be honest, because between the KV Core Smart campaign, the direct mail that I'm sending, which is part of the Smart campaign, and HomeBot and the personal message, they probably had enough, Josh. And they'll let me know when they're ready.
Could you tell me what Wailopo is?
It is a digital marketing platform for real estate, social media and digital marketing.
How do you spell Wailopo?
Y, the letter Y, L-O-P-O. It's not cheap. But it's, it's got some pretty cool functionality. I did it. I think we talked about this last week at some point. And I'm going to have to wrap up here in a couple of minutes. I have to run my son somewhere, but I originally signed up for it because I was trying to decide, I needed more leverage. And I was trying to decide, am I going to create more leverage through technology or through a human being? And I was talking with Mike, who is, he is my, I don't even want to call him an assistant. He's way more than an assistant. Like, he's just a rock star. And he had been an employee of mine in the past for many, many years. And so when I was trying to make this determination last summer, I really wanted Mike, but he wasn't ready to leave the engagement he had currently. So I was like, all right, well then I'll use technology. And I settled on Wailopo. Well, Mike a month later was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And so I ended up with both. But It's really cool. It has a lot of functionality. Depending on how many transactions you're looking to do and so forth, it may or may not make sense. Like, you know, there's other ways to get to the same end game. But it's cool, and they've got great training, and they've got, you know, the thing that I think is really valuable that they do is that they have like people on their staff that are real estate agents, like that have teams, and give you like very practical applications for the platform. Whereas a lot of real estate technology is made by people that know real estate agents are easy to sell stuff to and don't really care if the thing works or not. You know, they are definitely not that approach. Like they are very much committed to building, maintaining, and continually reiterating on a product that actually, you know, is being used and actually works as, you know, as we all want it to, I guess.
Hey, Josh, quick
So yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Do you have any tabs on how many of those services you subscribe on a regular basis? I mean, I know we mentioned a couple of those recently since, you know, I'm here, but there seems to be a lot of those services. So, but do you have any tabs or kind of list of what you're subscribing to and what you're using basically on the
I could put that together. I mean, I don't have anything that has that detailed out.
Or, you know, something that you would recommend. I know that we spoke street texting, your what's called.
So the hard part about that, Zorn, is I don't know how, like, what you should use and subscribe to and so forth is like, I can't answer that without knowing like, how many transactions are you trying to do, knowing more about your market and so forth. So like, I can create a document showing what I'm using, but that without additional context, it's really irrelevant. You know, so, you know, but there's, you know, I understand why you're asking. What I'm using and all of the things I'm playing around with, in part are because like I'm trying to go from 30 transactions last year to 75 to 100 this year, without adding like I've got a you know, a buyer's agent, and I've got an assistant that he's not even like, he's not just in my real estate production business, he does other things for me as well. So I'm trying to really go nuts here. Whereas if somebody just wants to do 2 transactions a month, really for me, that's probably like 2 things. You need 2 primary, well, 2 pillars beyond your sphere of influence and past clients. So there's a lot of context in there that I think, by the way, I got a StreetText full contact lead from the sharing, because I don't have any ads on right now, so it had to be from the group share. So there's a lot in there that would have to be sort of accounted for. But I'm happy to put together, like, this is what I'm currently using right now. These are the, you know, these are the technology and or services that I'm using right now, and the reasoning behind it. I think there's value in that.
Josh, this sounds like another morning meeting where we could go over, like, if you're after buyers and wanting to spend, you know, less than $500 a month, here's what you should do. And if you're after sellers and want to spend this much, and we could kind of come up with a couple of different profiles. And
I think that's a wonderful idea. Absolutely.
I would say so too, because I'm doing a KV course, Property Boost, and just in a week, I got literally 2 buyers, clients, and about 4 renting, you know, kind of renters.
Yeah.
That are basically clients becoming clients. But I don't want
that's beautiful.
I want something very different. I want So that's
I think Jacob's idea is wonderful, and I think it'll probably end up being multiple sessions But first and foremost, whether it's you or anyone listening, the very first thing you have to do is go somewhere quiet with a pen and paper and truly decide, this is what I want my business to look like. And then you can go and figure out, based upon that, these are the resources and the pillars and the services that I need, which is really hard. It's easier said than done, right? Like, but that, to me, that is first and foremost, like getting crystal clear on, this is what I want my business to look like. This is the type of clientele that I want to work. And this is, this is what I see, not just for this year, but even, over the next 3 to 5 years. And then staying, putting blinders on and focus on that, which I'm terrible at. Like, I will freely admit, like, I constantly have to remind myself, like, dude, chill out, stay focused, stop getting distracted by shiny object syndrome, which I am. Yeah.
I have that same problem, actually. I do that a couple times a year, and I'm clear what I want, but I get distracted too easily.
Yes.
We all do.
I hate to be abrupt, but yes, Adele, you can find these in the workplace group. The workplace group is the Massive Action Cooperative. This one will get in there. I have to go. Remind me tomorrow. I wanted to share a resource on agent attraction recruiting, but I want to save that for tomorrow, a little radio teaser for tomorrow. And thanks, everybody. This was great. Great way to kick off the week. Let's make it a great one. And talk soon. Talk tomorrow.